If you wake up in the middle of the night and feel the urge to check the baby monitor, don't, especially if it's exactly 3 a.m. Some people say certain hours of the night feel different, quieter, heavier, like the world is holding its breath. This story was shared by someone who says he never believed any of that, until the night the monitor turned on by itself. Welcome to Tales Beyond the Flame. It started with a sound, not a crash, not a cry, just a small noise somewhere in the house. The kind of sound that pulls you awake before you even understand why. He opened his eyes and stared into the dark. For a moment, he didn't move. He listened. Nothing. No footsteps. No doors. No movement in the hallway. He reached for his phone and checked the time. 3 a.m. exactly. He sighed and rolled onto his back. Usually, if the baby was awake, the monitor would already be making noise, a cry, rustling, something. But the room was silent. Then he noticed the glow. Soft blue light on the nightstand. The baby monitor screen was on. That was strange. He always turned the screen off at night unless he needed to check it. The audio stayed active, but not the screen. Yet now it was lit up. He reached over and picked it up. The camera feed showed the nursery. At first glance, everything looked normal. The crib, the blanket, the rocking chair in the corner, the small nightlight shaped like a moon, no movement, no sound. But then he noticed the crib, empty. He blinked hard and looked again. The blanket was folded back slightly. No baby. His stomach dropped instantly. He sat upright, pulled the monitor closer to his face. Maybe the angle was wrong. Maybe the baby had rolled into a corner the camera couldn't see. Maybe the image shifted slightly, like the camera had adjusted on its own. And that's when he saw something standing in the corner beside the rocking chair, tall, thin, completely still. At first it looked like a shadow, but shadows don't block light, and the moon-shaped nightlight behind it was dimmed by its shape. Something was there. He froze. Every part of him wanted to run to the nursery, but another part of him couldn't stop staring at the screen. The figure stood beside the crib with its head tilted downward, looking inside, watching. He tried to speak, tried to call his wife's name. Nothing came out. His throat had tightened completely. He tapped the volume button on the monitor. Static hissed softly, then silence again. The figure did not move. He zoomed in. The image pixelated, blurred, then sharpened. The figure was now closer to the crib rail, one long arm resting on the side. He jerked the monitor away from his face, heart hammering. He knew it had moved. He had only blinked, only for a second. And now it was closer. He looked toward the bedroom door. The hallway beyond was dark, still. He considered waking his wife, but panic had already taken over. He swung his legs off the bed and stood. Then the monitor crackled again. A soft sound came through the speaker, not static this time. Breathing, slow, close to the camera. He looked back down. The figure had turned its head, directly toward the lens, toward him. The angle made no sense. The camera was mounted high near the ceiling. Anything in that room should have been looking upward. But whatever this was, it was staring straight ahead, as if it knew exactly where he was holding the screen. Then the nursery door on the monitor began to open. Slowly, from the inside. He ran, out of the bedroom, down the hallway, bare feet slamming against the floorboards. He reached the nursery and shoved the door open. The room was empty. No figure, no movement, no sound. The crib stood where it always had, and inside it, the baby was asleep, curled under the blanket, breathing softly. He staggered backward, nearly falling. He checked every corner of the room, behind the curtains, inside the closet, under the crib. Nothing. His wife appeared in the hallway behind him, half awake and confused. He told her the monitor glitched. Nothing more. He didn't know how to explain what he'd seen. She took the baby into their room for the rest of the night. He unplugged the monitor completely, or at least, he thought he did. Because an hour later, while sitting awake in bed, he saw the blue glow again. The monitor was back on, still in his hand, still unplugged. The screen showed the nursery, empty now, crib vacant, rocking chair motionless. Then it began to move, very slowly, back and forth, back and forth. No one was in the room. He felt cold spread through his arms. The chair kept rocking, then stopped suddenly. Facing the camera, he stared at the screen. Something dark was now visible behind the chair. A shape crouched low, too low to be seen before. It rose slowly, unfolding upward, limbs too long, head tilted sharply to one side. He nearly dropped the monitor. Then the speaker came alive, a child's voice, soft, almost a whisper. "Daddy." He looked toward the bed instantly. The baby was asleep beside his wife. Neither had moved. He looked back at the monitor. The figure was gone. The crib was occupied again. Something small lay under the blanket, perfectly still. He should have thrown the monitor away. He knows that now. But fear makes people do strange things. It makes them need answers. The next morning, he checked the nursery camera. The lens was cracked. A thin line running across the glass. He had never noticed it before. He pulled the memory card and opened the footage on his computer. Everything looked normal until 2:58 a.m. Then the image distorted. Frames skipped, audio cut out. At exactly 3 a.m., the rocking chair began moving by itself. At 3:01, the crib was suddenly empty. No footage showed the baby leaving. One frame, the baby was there. The next frame, gone. At 3:02, something entered from the corner of the room. Not through the door, not through the window. From the corner, like it had been standing there the entire time and only just became visible. It crossed to the crib, looked inside, then slowly turned toward the camera. At 3:03, the footage ended. The file corrupted completely. He deleted everything. Bought a new monitor, installed it himself, checked every wire, every setting, every angle. For weeks, nothing happened. No glitches, no strange sounds, no blue glow at night. Life felt normal again. Then, one night, months later, he woke to silence. The same heavy silence. He checked the time. 3 a.m. Exactly. He did not move, did not look at the nightstand, did not reach for anything, but from somewhere in the dark bedroom, a speaker crackled softly, then a child's whisper, very close. "Daddy, I'm in the nursery." He says he still doesn't know if the voice was trying to lure him out of bed, or warn him not to look beside him, because he never turned his head, and he never checked the monitor again.